Manoj sir, thanks for talking to eGov magazine. My first question is that what kind of ICT implementation are being leveraged in Coal India?
Coal India, we have taken up ICT initiatives on a very large scale for last several years, because coal sector is a very vital sector, and the coal area itself is spread over large piece of areas, including 8 states. Now, physically it is difficult to control those areas, so we are using IT related initiatives to have a kind of a surveillance system. For example, GPS in the vehicles. Looking at CCTV cameras to be installed in vital locations. We are also looking at various bay bridges to be connected through IT infrastructure. We have a ERP where we are trying to implement all possible activities or operational areas for example, production, stores, material management, procurement, etc. Similarly, as you know, Coal India has huge procurement program. So we have e-procurement, reverse auction, e-auction, all everything has been implemented. We are also building on our own experiences which we had on those sectors, trying to improve the methods of reverse auction, for example, by setting different parameters that we have in the process. Similarly, we are also looking at our own internal working to be more IT enabled. For example, e-office kind of solutions. Then we are also looking at digitization of the records. We are also looking at e-movement of the files and also tracking of the files. We are looking at all those. Part of it already has been done, and part of it is in the progress. Similarly, we are looking at our stakeholders, customers, and vendors. How we can have a much better relation with them. How can we attend to their grievances? For example, at the customer end, whether they are getting right kind of quality or they are being overbilled. Similarly, from the vendor point of view, whether they face any discrimination or they have any difficulties with the organization. So we are looking at all those systems. We are putting the system in place. For example, online grievance system. So to that extent, IT implementation has happened in a big way, and it is a huge opportunity for the people who can provide IT solutions to us.
Sir, just taking cue from your statement, IT is being used, as you have said, in a huge way in Coal India. And do you think it is very important to use ICT to get rid of corruption, to bring more accountability, more transparency?
Absolutely, perfectly. Because there was a time when we didn't have e-procurement solution, for example. At that time, the entire process to be done in a manual form, a lot of human intervention. There were a lot of one-to-one kind of contact between the procurement agency and the bidders, and in the process there is to be a lot of corruption. Now everything has become online, filing online, discovery of L1 online. Similarly, any further negotiation that we have has to be done online. All document verification, everything has to be done online. So to that extent, human interface has withered away, and also along with that, the corruption also has gone to some extent. Similarly, when we have tried to put in control systems of controlling the pilferages, for example, of coal during production process, during its transit from production end to the railway sidings and from railway sidings onward, then the corruption level has come down, because we have tried to put systems in place where we can have control mechanism, we can get alerts, etc. So we have tried to find out which are the areas which have been vulnerable to corruption, and then try to work out some IT solutions so that we can take care of them in a systematic manner rather than having a manual check. So to that extent, IT has really helped us in controlling the corruption in Coal India.
Sir, can you enlighten us on any future initiatives of Coal India in terms of IT implementation or ICT or governance? Any 1 or 2 points?
Yeah, one is that as I said, our areas are very vast. We are spread over thousands of kilometers. Obviously, physical check is difficult. So now we are looking at even use of UAVs, etc., to control the areas. Similarly, we are also trying to figure out how best we can have more relationships with railways, for example, so that we can exchange data on a real-time basis, and we can figure out which are the places, which are the segments of route where pilferages generally take place, identify those places and take corrective measures. Similarly, we are also looking at improvements in our reverse auction process. So for that we are working with our partners who are giving us technology support. We are also looking at in future other areas. For example, our wheel tracking is one of the areas we are looking at, because what we found that some of the vendor wheels get delayed because of some ulterior motives. So now wheel tracking is not so easy as it appears to be, because it requires several issues are involved therein, by which really alert system escalation to a higher level, for example, or first time bill submitted with a different number, next time we submitted with a different bill gets submitted in a different number after correction of the certain deficiencies. So we are looking at that also. And also all these data that we are collecting from different sensors, they need to be assimilated, analyzed, and then acted upon. So for that we have control centers which we have established. Now mining those control centers, working out actionable kind of alerts, that is extremely critical. So a lot of data analytic has to go in. So then that is also in future we need to have a support on that.
Sir, you have been an important policy maker of the country. You have been the IT Secretary of Tripura, now you're into Coal India. As a visionary, what is your take of the e-governance state in the country like India, and how this Digital India campaign of Government of India will actually change the entire digital landscape of India? What is your opinion on that, being an important stakeholder of this ecosystem?
I fully agree with you. The entire Digital India campaign will going to change the way things happen in India. For example, the way people interact with the government, for example, it will be largely e-enabled. The services will be guaranteed. Then the wherever there are blockades in the government delivery mechanism, those things will get corrected. Similarly, from citizen to even private sector, things will improve, because a lot of IT implementation will ease the quality of life, the way we work in our day-to-day activities, and in future much better kind of solutions will be provided, particularly in health and education sectors. There we are looking at much better public-private partnership, because government alone cannot take care of all the difficulties in these particularly social sectors. So there we are looking at great future as far as digital India program is concerned, and as far as state level delivery mechanism is also concerned, they will vastly improve because of the initiatives that have been taken from time to time.
So one last question. You are now part of Knowledge Exchange Summit 2015 Goa. How has been your experience taking part in this summit?
No, the experience has been wonderful. In fact, we met large number of people during the summit. We looked at various kind of options that we have in terms of IT solutions. We also looked at the kind of things which are happening in different places, which we can be replicated elsewhere. We also looked at what are the future frontiers of IT program which is going on, and it gives a lot of ideas as to how things can be improved, how things can be taken further, and to that extent the summit has been quite successful. Thank you.